Hey everybody, it's Ron
and Jennifer
from the Castle to Castle podcast.
We're here to talk all about Jollywood Nights, the pros and the cons, since we both went to it.
So stay tuned. Hey everybody, how you doing? Like Jen said, we are here tonight to talk about Jollywood Nights.
Yes.
We both got to experience it. We both got to go through everything, and we kind of have some points just to kind of talk about now that it's over for the year, what we hope we see next year, what the good, the bad.
Yes, all pros and cons.
Just kind of talk over Jollywood Nights. So we'll kind of dive into it here. So Jen, what was your first good point for Jollywood Nights?
I loved how the wait times were so much lower than during the day without Lightning Lane. I'm not even kidding. You were able to get on every ride that you wanted to in a very significant lower amount of time than you would during the day. In my opinion, that in itself was completely worth it.
You gotta love those after-hour events.
Yes.
Like, wait times are so much better during those.
Basically, like, it was legit a walk-on for Minnie and Mickey's Runaway Railway. And during the day, the lowest time, a 30-minute wait if you're lucky?
Yeah.
So I just thought that in itself was completely worth it. And I know you said you went on Rock and Roller Coaster and you went back in line immediately afterwards and got right back on, and that's like a hard thing to do during the day.
It was great. I literally went on, rode Rock and Roller Coaster, got off, went back on, ran all the way back up to the queue and got on another train. I did it twice in 6 minutes. Like, there was nothing there. It was great.
And so I know, like, with people, there was all the different comments online. A lot of people weren't focusing on being on the rides. So I don't know if maybe that kind of helped because so many people were focused on going to the shows,
Sure.
getting the food, the drinks, and maybe that also helped us out. But I just feel like in general, like, low wait times for the rides was a very good pro on my list. Yeah.
No, I was definitely there. And it's kind of funny she said that because that was my pro, was the shows. I really loved the shows that we got to see.
They were so good.
The Nightmare Before Christmas show was fun. It wasn't like it was anything original, like all new songs, but just how they did it with the stage, and they brought on the giant Jack Skellington that you only ever see during the show at Magic Kingdom. Like, I just loved the way that the shows were. The Muppet Show was so cute.
That was so creative how basically you were part of the live studio audience of them filming a Christmas variety show special in a sense. And it was just cute how they did it, like, with little commercials and be like, we'll be right back. And then they're like basically like breaking, camera to talk to like the audience. And then it would go back to the show. That was such a good job what they did with that.
I loved that show, though my favorite part was Kermit bribing Miss Piggy.
Anyway, I just found this hat backstage.
Well, that just won't do. I didn't have any time to accessorize between numbers, and I refuse to be upstaged.
I could never upstage you, Piggy. Listen, how about I make it up to you by getting you a churro and a Spirit jersey after the show?
Throw in a giant pretzel and you got a deal.
Done.
Now we're talking.
Like, that was such a typical Disney moment. Throw in a pretzel and a churro and you got a deal.
I love that they did that type of stuff because it just made it more personal and more like people could connect with it, like within related to the parks.
Sure.
Not just like the straight off script that you would find like in a movie.
Well, and not only that too, what I really appreciate about this show is that it was a truly unique original show. They didn't just take a Disney movie and, a Christmas movie and break it up into parts and retell the story on stage.
Yep.
It was fun that it was an original variety show. Tiana made an appearance. Belle made an
Belle
appearance.
sang the song from Beauty and the Beast Enchanted Christmas. I loved that so much. That was cute. I loved it.
It was cute. It really was. And teeing back to the Nightmare Before Christmas, again, it wasn't original, and they basically did, but it was fun that they had the sing-along, and you got to see all the lyrics on stage, and Oogie Boogie came out and made a live appearance. It was just fun because you don't see that much Nightmare Before Christmas stuff even during the normal days on the park. So to get an entire show dedicated to it, I really thought they did very well on the shows. They thought it out. It wasn't just, we're going to pick up Frozen and drop Frozen holiday special on you.
Which, that's the thing. They could have done that, and they didn't. I'm kind of glad because I love Frozen. I love it. Don't get me wrong. But it is sprinkled so heavily within the parks that I'm glad that they gave the Muppets the attention. And they gave these other franchises the attention that they normally don't do. So that was good.
No, that we really, I agree with that 100%. I think it was nice to see the Muppets get something You don't see, other than the Muppets 3D show, you see very little Muppets in the park these days. They closed out that gift shop over in Hollywood Studios. So it really was nice to see Kermit and Miss Piggy on stage interacting. It was a really cute show. Now, we touched on the good. What is your bad point from Jollywood Nights?
I have two main ones. So I'm going to pick one actually we were starting to talk about earlier. I stayed at Caribbean Beach Resort. So I was on a Skyliner resort. Guess what? We were able to ride the Skyliner in there. But to go home, back to our resort, we had to take the bus. And they paired Riviera up with Caribbean Beach Resort, which was the common theme for this night. They would pair up multiple resorts, stick them on one bus, and yes, they would have many buses lined up. It just sucked, though, because the Skyliner resorts really deserved, for being a Skyliner resort, to actually have that transportation back to your hotel. And I feel like that it would have alleviated the bus service, helped them out. So if they would have had the Skyliner running, like, they could have pushed all of us on the Skyliner. I get it was 1 o'clock in the morning and they maybe didn't want to keep it open for that. But I feel like that was a big, huge, I don't know, a letdown that many people might not think about with this event. But for me, I'm like, really? I have to get on a bus to go back when to get there I get to go on the Skyliner? So,
right. And correct me if I'm wrong, too. They closed the boating down, too, right? It was literally...
That I'm not sure, but I know
Busing
you were seeing that there.
Yeah, the night we went, same thing. I stayed at All Star Sport this time, and they combined All Star Sport, music, and movie into one lovely big bus line, which it's insane when you think about it, because you have so many people there. Just like what Jen was saying, you have limited amount of busing. It's 1 a.m. Why you're not utilizing your services? And I know people say, well, it's because you got to staff it and everything else, and I get that. Like, but you really... You know, at some point, that's why guests stay at these resorts, because they expect to have that Skyliner or that boat capability and not have to wait in the mile-long line for busing.
I didn't get it at all.
So that's an interesting point you bring up, that they're only running, and I guess it's really not made apparent, and I don't know where you would necessarily, but a lot of people tend to say that. We've gotten a lot of comments online, a lot of TikTok videos sent like, oh, look, I'm going to the busing even though I'm at a resort that takes the boat. I'm staying at Swan. Didn't matter. You're bus or bust in that case, which was interesting.
Need to change that for next year. I'm sorry. I thought that was ridiculous. They could have kept the Skyliner open.
Sure.
Come on. Just
I mean, and knowing you have this event
through.
too, exactly. Knowing you have that event going on too, like that, that's interesting.
Yep.
My bad's a little bit different. Mine is actually, it's bad but good in its own weird way. I think it wasn't long enough.
That was my second one. So good, you brought it up.
I think Jollywood Nights was not long enough. We got on there. We were there at like 2:00 in the afternoon. We were in Hollywood that day. We had dinner, backyard barbecue. Check out our dining review on that one, because that's on this channel too. But then we went and did Jollywood Nights. We rode Mickey's Runaway Railway, got off, and immediately got in line for the 8:30 show of The Nightmare Before Christmas. Waited on that show and did that show. So we were out around 9:30. Walked down, got in line, and we did I think it was either the 10 o'clock or 10:30 Muppets, whatever that 10 o'clock hour show was. We did the Muppets. So then by that time we got out, it was like 11 o'clock. Well, Jollywood Nights is open till 12:30, but you have Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam at 12:30.
Yeah.
And if you want a good seat for that, you're getting in line around like 11:30, 11:45, which is what we did. So you really saw the two shows, and then you were pretty much out of time. We went and did Rock and Roller Coaster real quick because you got off the Muppet Show and it's back at the Beauty and the Beast Theater. But after that, we got a snack real quick and went and got in line for Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam. And like that, the night's over. I didn't get to do any of the character meet and greets. I didn't really get to go explore much. We did get to meet Frozone back in that Pixar alleyway there.
Same with Edna Mode was back there. They were all lonely. No one was back there, so we got to entertain them. We'll get some pictures.
Well, and that's kind of where my second point comes up for Jollywood Nights, is I feel like it wasn't spread out enough. Everything was happening on Hollywood Boulevard or in the main square. All of your character meet and greets were in that corner, minus Frozone and Edna. And Jesse and Woody were back in Toy Story Land in their Christmas outfits. But otherwise, you were always on Hollywood Boulevard or in the main square. And you have so much more land. I understand you can't use Galaxy's Edge, but there was nothing else spread around. So Crowds were a little bit bigger because all of the lines were kind of meshing together a little bit. You didn't know if this was the line to meet Powerline Max or Phineas and Ferb, or you see what I mean? Like, because it all happened.
I didn't even get it. I didn't even go in that area.
See, we walked by him to just take pictures and see the characters, but we didn't get in line. And I think that's kind of where, if you'd made it a little bit longer and spread things out a little bit more, the lines would be a little bit shorter, and you'd be able to go and do more things. Very Merry Christmas Party.
I legit have comparison times.
See, we're like two peas in a pod.
Yeah, so Very Merry Christmas Party is 5 hours of the slotted party time, when the slotted party time for Jollywood Nights is only 4 hours. But here's the thing, Magic Kingdom, they let you in at 4 p.m., so that's 3 hours added on to your party ticket, so you can be at Magic Kingdom for possibly 8 hours.
Right.
But at Hollywood Studios, they're only allowing you in an hour and a half before. So you're really only getting 5.5 hours at Hollywood Studios, possibly, when at Magic Kingdom you get 8 hours.
Yeah. And that lets you ride some of the rides and do some of the things before the party.
Yeah, so like
you
I
can
went
focus
to
on the party
Rodeo
stuff.
Roundup. I had a 7:05 reservation, which worked out great because I was able to get in and out before the party even started, before the special things started happening.
Yeah.
But in reality, like, that's, to me, that's a little off, that Magic Kingdom Christmas party for, they let you have that big slot of time.
Sure.
When Hollywood Studios, I don't know where the validation came into point of let's shave them off a few
Trim it up a
hours
bit, yeah.
and also not offer stuff. That was my other
and, like,
thing, with they weren't offering stuff with the ticket like they did for Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party.
Right.
Why couldn't Hollywood Studios do their own treat or drink stops? What they could have done, mocktails or something else, their own version, to give it in with the price of the ticket. Because when you look up for Hollywood Studios for their after hours events, they give you stuff with your ticket,
Right, you get all
like
kinds of
novelties,
snacks.
popcorn, all of that. So how come for Jollywood Nights they don't give you any type of their own version of treat stops?
Right. They had stuff that you
know.
could buy.
But that's
they,
not the same.
100%.
Not the same.
And I think that adds an extra layer of things to do, too. When you look at the Not So Scary Halloween Party, when you look at the Very Merry Christmas Party, the treat stations are a big hit. How many videos do you see of people dumping bags and bags of candy on their bed after the event?
Multiple, and then they don't want to bring it all back home.
They don't know what to do with it all. But it's like a, look at me. I went to this event. I came home with a pound of candy. I got to meet rare characters. I saw a cool stage show. All of these things. And it spreads it out. It works the night a little bit more. And you feel like you're doing things. Plus, you're more likely to go on a ride. You hit a treat station over in Liberty Square. Well, let's pop on to Haunted Mansion real quick. It's a 15-minute wait. Boom, we're going to ride a ride. Whereas at Hollywood Studios, that's how I ended up on Rock and Roller Coaster, because I got off of Muppets. But you had Tower of Terror, you had Rock and Roller Coaster in that corner. Otherwise, you had no rides until you went all the way across into Toy Story.
Back over there, yeah.
Right. And there was no event stuff back at Toy Story. So unless you were specifically trying to ride Toy Story during the event, you weren't really back there. It was empty
I
back
was back there, right? I rode everything very fast.
Well, but that's kind of the point. How empty was it back there? Like, Jesse and Woody were there doing meet and greets, and Frozone.
I didn't even see Jesse and Woody out the night I was there.
See, they were out when we were there.
I don't know. Maybe
it was transition time.
Yeah, maybe. But it seems like we said a lot more cons than pros, but I really enjoyed this event a lot. I really loved the atmosphere that you were given, because you get to be at Hollywood Studios at night with it all lit up with all of the Christmas decorations, the Christmas music pumping throughout different sections of the park. So like the atmosphere of it, kind of went over all of the different cons for me too. Like it kind of helped develop into this is a cool event that I really enjoyed when I was there.
Yeah, I mean, like they had that DJ in the center square with the smoke behind it and stuff. That was super cool to see. I will say this. Same point. We said a bunch of negatives, but this was the first year they did this. I wasn't expecting them to knock it out of the park. I was a little more scared after watching TikToks from like the first night of the event. I went to the third show, so I skipped the first two parties. I was at the third party. So I was a little nervous seeing what the first two parties had. But I think Disney quickly learned where they were falling short, made those corrections. I didn't have to wait long for my placard. We were literally through that line in 30 seconds. You got your placard, you were out the door. So that was super nice. We didn't have too long, like we got into the shows, the first line we were in, we didn't have to wait for the second show.
That's
so
good.
I think they worked on things and I think they'll work next year. I wasn't expecting to knock it out of the park, but for next year, these are where I hope I can reference this video in a year and say, hey, look, they fixed
They
this,
fixed
they
this
did
and
this,
that,
they,
and still kept the quality of like the Christmas type of jazz music thing that they had going on there
Oh
too.
yeah, because you went to
and-
the lounge too, right?
Yes. Tip Top Club. That was so good. We, after going to the Holidays in Hollywood show, I believe that's the name of it, with the Muppets.
Yeah.
So after that, we walked out to go to the Tip Top Club, and we happened to go there right when the set was about to begin.
Oh, nice.
It was so good.
All of your life seems to feel like a bell that's ringing for me. When that bell starts to ring.
I filmed 2 of it because I know I put one on TikTok already. I have to put the second video up, but it was so good. I love that entertainment. I feel like they could have even taken that and put other little almost like lounges like that throughout the park to have maybe like a, I don't know, a Western. In Toy Story, they could have done some type of a Western Christmas type of
and
a
did
thing.
more like a smaller entertainment stages.
Yeah. But like that's what I just like, those little touches that they did with this event.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping they're going to take what they did, run with it, and just like,
Yeah.
amplify what they did and keep the good things that are good and just tweak some of the things that were a little bit messy or what they could have done better with.
So it sounds like you'll go back to Jollywood next year.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
I would definitely go back.
Okay. So now comparing Very Merry to Jollywood, would you say you would pick one over the other? Or would you say if you have the opportunity, just do both?
If I had the opportunity, I would do both. This time I chose that I did not go to Hollywood Studios during the day.
Okay.
So that was like not a day ticket that I spent money on.
It was just the party
It was
ticket.
just the party. And
Okay.
I would totally do it again because I didn't have to wait.
Yeah.
I didn't have to wait. I didn't have to pay for Lightning Lane. I got to get on, the rides quickly. And when you think about it, like the price of Jollywood Nights is around the same price of what during the holidays, what a regular Hollywood Studios ticket's going to be.
Sure.
So, but I thought that was like a win-win situation.
Why not pay for the party ticket and get the less wait lines than paying for a normal
Yeah, I
thing?
still got to go get dinner. I got to go see shows that were different than during the day since I've seen Indiana Jones and
How many times can we say we've seen Indiana Jones?
Frozen sing along and the Beauty and the Beast show. Like I did all of that last year twice. So I'm like, hey, I'll just do it this time around and just do the party for a brand new experience. And that's how I looked at it as. I would like a new experience in Hollywood Studios.
Sure.
So I don't know. I liked it.
Okay.
I would do it again.
I mean, I would concur. I'd say the same thing. If you had the opportunity to do both, I don't think one was necessarily better than the other. Like, you're going to get the same stuff at both to do this one. I think they had unique things at both. I think
Yeah.
they're different versions, which is the other nice thing, too. I was worried Disney was going to kind of copycat
Yeah.
Very Merry just in Hollywood so they can spread out the people. So I'm kind of happy these were two unique events. So I
Yeah.
think we both agree. I definitely will go next year and see how they did. I think, they each had different things to them. So definitely
Yeah.
if you have the opportunity, do both. Different experiences for both.
Yep.
Well, I hope this was kind of helpful. It kind of made sense and showed you what it was. If you have any questions, you can always hit us up on
Comment
any of our-
below. Yep.
Comment below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you always get the new content. Reach out to us on any of our social media feeds. We definitely love it. CastlePodcast.com. You always can reach us. And if not, then thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you here next time.
See ya.